Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in this extraordinary community of wise friends, of people gathered from all over the United States as well as the world. I'd like to begin our practice today with a sentiment of loving kindness. And these are little paintings I make, and then I write sentiments on the back. And this one reads, "May you be aware. May you be aware." Now, if you have an inner critic like mine, who's kind of sassy sometimes, my inner critic hears mantras like this, "May you be aware." And it's quick to say things like, "Aware of what?" And it's kind of sassy that way, like, "Aware of what?" And I've learned to respond to that critic, that inner critic, with things like, "Yes." "Aware of what?" "Exactly." May you be aware of what? Right. Keep it open. Keep it wide open. So, friends, we're here and we're going to finish our study of Shantideva. And we have been exploring this amazing book called Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And it's interpreted by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. And we have been reading this book for at least a couple of years. And if you're not familiar with the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, it reads like an epic poem. And it's the work of Shantideva, 7th century monk, Mahayana monk. And his story is very similar to the Buddha's in that he was a very wealthy young man when he threw it all off to become a monk, to study at Nalanda University in India and learn and study the Dharma with a collection of thousands and thousands of other young men. And what makes Shantideva so unique and why we're talking about his poetry, his ideas to this day, is he took the Buddha's advice directly to his heart, an arrow to the heart, which is take these teachings, take this wisdom, and take it for a drive in your own life, in your own way. Make it come alive in you, through you, as you. The Buddha did not want anyone to just take his word for it. He wanted people to experiment with these teachings, to see how it worked, to see the things that didn't work for you in your life, in your time, in your part of the world. And so Shantideva, I think, really heard that call. And for himself, he decided to create kind of a roadmap, a guide, a way of saying, how can I be in this world and reduce the misery that I see everywhere? How can I be someone and become someone where my mere presence becomes an opening for someone else's healing and transformation? And so that's what this book is. And we've been, for the last several weeks, exploring the 10th chapter, which is all about the dedication of merit. And you know, in the Recovery Dharma practices and in the Recovery Dharma book, the meeting ends with a dedication of merit. And this is a very traditional practice whenever you come into the presence of the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, whenever you have the Dharma and a meditation, the way to end it, the way to close out the meeting is to dedicate the goodness of it, to dedicate the merit. It's totally inspired by Shantideva. And so, what he does in this last chapter is he recognizes that every effort that he makes toward the light, toward the good, has the capacity to reach so many different kinds of people. And so he dedicates his practice, he dedicates his effort, his actions, his speech, his concentration, his mindfulness, everything that we encounter on the Noble Eightfold Path. He dedicates it all to all living beings everywhere. And in that process of dedication, here's the unspoken invitation. May the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, come alive in you. In your life, may it ripen in the conditions of your experiences, where you are in the world, in this time, in your body. And may that become the instrument with which you experiment with truth. Those are Thich Nhat Hanh's words. May your life be the instrument with which you experiment with truth. So I'd like to share with you the last several verses, and I'm just going to read them all as our practice today. And I'd encourage you to take a posture in your body that is strong and noble. And how to do that is sit nice and tall, if that's available to you. And maybe put a hand on the belly so that the belly is encouraged to stay soft. Keep your spine nice and straight and strong. Close your eyes if that's available and comfortable to you. And if not, just keep a downward gaze. Find something beautiful to look at. Roll your shoulders up and back so that the heart is lifted. Rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. And breathe through your nose if you can. And take to heart your wise effort here today, your wise action here today. Everything about your being here is good. These are the words of Shantideva. In all temples and Dharma centers, may recitation and meditation flourish forever. May the Sangha always be in harmony, and may their wish to benefit others be fulfilled. May Sangha who wish to practice purely find the right conditions to do so, and abandoning all distractions, meditate with mental suppleness. May the ordained be materially provided for and always be free from harm. May no one who has taken ordination ever allow their moral discipline to degenerate. May all those who have broken their moral discipline completely purify their downfalls. May they attain a fortunate rebirth and never allow their morality to decline again. May those who are learned in Dharma be respected and receive material support. May their minds be pure and peaceful, and may their good qualities be proclaimed in all directions. May they never experience the sufferings of the lower realms or meet with hardships of body, speech, or mind. May they have forms superior to those of the gods and quickly attain the state of a Buddha. May all living beings again and again make offerings to the Buddhas. May they become endowed with the eternal bliss of a fully enlightened being. May the Bodhisattvas fulfill the welfare of the world in every manner they have intended. And may all living beings receive everything the Buddhas have intended for them. Likewise, may all solitary realizers and hearers attain the happiness of nirvana. And until I attain the level of the joyous one through the blessings of Manjushri, who's the Bodhisattva of in the Mahayana tradition. May I be concerned for all my future lives and always receive ordination. May I always live humbly, sustained by simple food. Throughout all my lives, may I abide in solitude and always find ideal conditions for achieving my spiritual goals. Whenever I wish to see a scripture or compose even a single verse, may I behold without obstruction protector, Manjushri, to fulfill the needs of all living beings reaching to the ends of space. May my wish of life always resemble that of Manjushri. For as long as space exists, for as long as living beings remain in samsara, may I abide among them to dispel their suffering. May all the suffering of all living beings ripen solely upon me, and by the power of the Bodhisattva's virtue and aspirations, may all beings experience happiness. May the Buddha Dharma, the sole medicine for all suffering and the source of all happiness, be materially supported and honored and remain for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjushri, those whose kindness my virtuous intentions arise, and I prostrate to my spiritual guide, those whose kindness my virtuous qualities increase. This concludes the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, composed by the Buddhist master, Shantideva. Friends, for me, much of what Shantideva writes about and practices are cultural expressions that are outside my own culture. I don't feel comfortable prostrating, for example, to various Buddhas. I may bow slightly, but getting down on my hands and knees and making the full body prostrations is not something I feel inspired to do. It's just not part of my cultural fabric. But if I were in India or in various parts of Asia, for example, I totally would if that was the culture in which I was brought up. I'm also not 100% convinced about the whole idea of rebirth. I often like to think about, and this is because of my own Celtic heritage, but there's a Celtic idea about rebirth happening within one's lifetime. So there are many things that we can die to over and over and over again and be reborn. And so the image that I hold very dear is that of my gardens. So when I nurture my gardens in the spring and in the summer, and they flourish and they ripen, and I enjoy the fruits of all of that labor, and then the changing season happens and autumn comes. And with autumn comes the changing temperatures and so on and so forth, and the plants begin to die and retreat back into the soil. And if I'm still being an aware caretaker, what goes back into the soil, even in death, is good. And in fact, it nurtures the soil so that when winter comes and it's hidden underneath the blanket of snow, and in that unseen realm, there's all kinds of things going on. There's all kinds of natural organic happenings, the decomposition of plants that feed the soil, that create the fertility that the soil needs for the seeds that I'm going to plant again and anew in spring. And so the cycle continues. For me, that is how rebirth is tangible and real. And so when I think about that idea in the context of recovery, I think about the ways I can die to my habit energy, how my habits can die, how my thoughts and stories can drop and fade, and how I can peel away all of these unserving layers and allow my truest nature to come forward. And my truest nature is a Buddha nature, which is full of compassion and kindness and joy and the capacity to hold birth and death, beauty and horror, right and wrong, these sacred paradoxes. That's the equanimity of my life. And I can use my life just as it is to guide me and teach me. Within me and within my life is chaos and clarity, confusion and creativity, despair and bliss, frustration and patience, and so on. These practices have shown me and taught me how to hold all of it and how to allow all of it to define me. That's the whole of me. That's the whole me. The mess and the magic makes me. And I'll spare you the suspense. It makes you too. And together in Sangha, the thing the Buddha cherished above all things was the community in which we can practice, in which we can reflect, in which we can struggle, in which we can heal. Imagine if we could, all of us, be a little bit more like Shantideva and create a map for our lives that was full of healing, full of light that we could share with others. It is an invitation and it is a way to dedicate our lives. Take this in, friends. Let it inspire you and let it be a reminder that not only are you so well loved, but just keep going. Keep going. I'd like to chant 3 times the chant to the 3 jewels. And this is the chant where the words are Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. And if you know it, you can chant with me. Otherwise, just enjoy this chant. Taking a deep breath in. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Us to the end of our practice. I do want you all to know, and I'd love for you all to get this book. If you want to, certainly no obligation. But the book that we're going to pick up and study is one of my all-time favorites. It's an incredible practice. It's by Pema Chodron, and we're going to read the book together, Start Where You Are. And this is 59 Lojong practices. So if you're not familiar with Lojong, this is all about looking at specific slogans, specific mantras that are really designed to light some fires. So one of my favorites is, and I have to say it kind of snarky, which is, don't be so predictable. Don't be so predictable. That's one of the Lojong practices. And what we can do with these mantras is, if we really think about it, habit energy is predictable behavior. We get a craving, we respond to that craving, and we go down the same old, worn out, miserable path. Why are we doing something so predictable? Why not do something completely unpredictable? And why not do something completely beautiful? Like, that's crazy. Instead of picking up the whipping sticks and looking in the mirror and admonishing ourselves, Doing something unpredictable is finding the reddest lipstick you could ever find and smearing it all over your lips and then planting a big giant kiss on the mirror and going, damn, you're amazing. That's pretty unpredictable, wouldn't you say? So that's what we're going to study. Pema Chodron's Start Where You Are, 59 Lajong practices. So we'll look at one a week. It'll take us a year and a half or so to do. And I hope you can join us. It's such a great practice. Friends, we meet tomorrow, 10:30 in the morning, and we're going to continue our conversation on the cultivation of wise speech. And we meet on Friday as well, online only, 11:30. We don't meet for Satyaseva again for a couple of weeks. We'll meet on Wednesday, September 2nd. I want to let everybody know that coming soon, starting in January, I'm offering a course on how to bring back the sacred in one's life. It's all about reimagining sacred livelihood. I offered this last year. We're doing it again. We're doing it in a whole new way. We're using the Satyaseva practices as a guide. You'll be able to read all about that on the website coming soon. It should be a really beautiful practice. We're doing it for 5 months, and it's one Saturday a month with me for an all-day retreat. It's pretty nice. So keep that in mind and it's a way to get deeper in your practice. Email me, do the things, And I really love what I heard today about reading a menu, and the menu is just all you're hearing from that delicious menu is how amazing you are, and how well loved you are, and how lovable and worthy of love you are. Indeed, it's true. And let's end on that note. Let's end with a dedication of merit. And I'd like to speak to you as heart hearers. So if you can, take a moment to just tap into that heart space. You may even want to tap your heart or kind of do a spiral rub, or maybe even press on that heart just as a way of warming it up and let it receive this message. Heart hearer. There's so much about our society. There's so much about the narrative that is designed to keep you small and scared. It takes great courage and great daring to stand tall, to be open, to receive nurturance, kindness, encouragement. It takes great spiritual strength to take those qualities in and have them shift and shape your life so that you become a nurturer, an encourager, a guide. We were all created for this. We have every tool we need. We possess all to make this happen. And yet we get in our way. We have these layers, these blocks. And so this is a practice of peeling those layers away so that the heart can come through. It can radiate and shine. It can brighten and provide warmth. This is the call to the spiritual warrior. This is the call to you. May you go into your day with presence, with beauty, with hope, with joy. Remember, friends, you are an extension of the divine imagination, and you never have been, nor shall you ever be, a mistake in the eyes of the divine. Let your heart hear that, and let your mind live it, and may your heart and mind become it. Namaste.